Hello, Thad. Good afternoon.
Hello, Vicky.
How lovely to be here with you again on a Wednesday afternoon.
It is Wednesday. Here we are.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Vicky, and as always, I'm joined by the fabulous Thaddeus Arthur Hollis.
Okay.
Thad will do. Thad's a mediator, divorce coach, and conflict coach with over 30 years of experience helping people navigate separation. And he's been doing that here locally in Australia and internationally. So today we're getting into something that comes up for almost everyone going through a split, but doesn't always get talked about openly. Maybe it's those things you think but don't say. So we're going to just say it how it is today, have the tough conversations. And that is the role that friends and family play in your separation, because people love you and they want to help and they want to give advice. And sometimes it can just take it across the line, take it too far, or maybe their advice isn't helpful for you. So we're going to get into why that happens and what you can do if you're the party that's separating to still maintain your sense of self and do it on your terms and not feel the pressure
Hmm.
from outside. So if you're a family lawyer watching this, perhaps you have clients who could really use this conversation, please share it with them. It's a free resource, right? Or if you're personally in the middle of a separation, then lean in and maybe you want to watch it over and over again. So I know it's going to be packed with wisdom, as it always is when we talk to Thad. So, Thaddeus, why do people get involved with other people's breakups?
I think it's human nature. When we were deciding the topic, and I was thinking about it yesterday, it occurred to me that, when we start dating, our friends and family have opinions. You're dating who? Oh, they have an opinion as to why you shouldn't be with that person or what's the value about it. And then, so if they had an opinion in the beginning, they're going to have an opinion if the relationship's ending, and they're going to go, and usually, what did they do? I never really liked them. And suddenly all these stories start to come out, and it's like, hang on a minute, we've been together, I'll just put a fictitious number to, we've been together 15 years, and in 15 years, you've never liked them, right? But yeah, people get involved because they care, they think they're giving advice, they think they're helping. No, it's like well-intentioned friends give great advice. I was talking with a client this week, and they said, "Well, I have a friend that is going through something similar. I think I'll go have coffee with them, and they can help me with my thoughts around separation." And I went, "They went through a separation whenever they did, and that's going to be their experience. What they can do is give you direction as to people you can talk to professionally about that. But talking to friends and getting advice from friends, you're going to get their advice as to how it went, not what's in your interest or what your experience might be. Imagine you having an amicable separation and your friend had a very nasty one that was prolonged over 2, 3 years, and there were solicitors involved, and the whole thing went mushroom clouded and went belly up. Not going to be a great experience. Going to be pretty bitter about the whole separation experience. If you go to a friend that had a really great time, went through it and said, "Yeah, we just sat down, we did the separation. It was really quite easy, and the kids were grown up, so no problem, no dramas."
Yeah.
Two very different experiences, but that's not yours.
Yeah. What I'm hearing is that we each would go through this experience uniquely, that we have our own way of experiencing it, feelings, patterns, thinking, baggage, history.
Yeah,
And there's so many moving parts that create your own unique path. And we can't really measure or compare our experience with what someone else's was or what they think it might be.
you know, um, you can't, but it's okay to have a friend, to have a shoulder to cry on, or someone to talk to. But if you're looking for advice as to how to separate or how to handle an emotional breakup, or, you know, there's resources, there's divorce coaches, there's therapists, there's psychologists, there's financial planners that can help you with understanding how to separate financially. Um, Friends will give you their bias. Now, going to your parents and saying, Mom and Dad, right? There may be one of two things. Why would you leave him or her? Right? There's fantastic. We had great plan. Or, yeah, there's going to be a bias that really isn't. So it's important to put boundaries in place when having discussion with friends and family. One of the jokes I have with family lawyers is that a lot of our clients watch way too much American television on dramas and divorce in courts. We forget that we're watching a 45-minute episode in which someone goes through an entire drama and it's fixed in 45 minutes, and there's courtroom drama and all that. The world doesn't work that way, but television does, and that gives us an impression, and our friends gather information from that. How they say, I was talking with someone just the other day who had this, you know, personal experience. My stepmother's mother sort of became an adopted grandmother in her own right. And when I was going through my divorce 25 years ago, no, it's just a long time ago, she was giving me advice about, you got to do this, you got to take her there, you got to do, and I went, I don't want to go to war. This isn't about that. And she says, well, you need to. And I just went, thank you. But I put firm boundaries in place because I knew where we were going and what I wanted as an outcome. And it was unsolicited advice, well-intentioned, well-meaning. But if I'd followed it, I would have gone to war.
Yeah. Isn't this interesting? We need to know what we want the outcome to be. I mean, it
Hmm.
really is the same in every aspect of life, isn't it? If you
Yeah.
want to achieve an amicable outcome, not just amicable for the sake of it, but if you want to achieve the best outcome, a better outcome for you, you need to know what you want. You need to know what you
And
want. So you need to be clear. And what other people want for you is not what you want. And as you talk about boundaries, it's like sitting with what are your needs? What are your emotions? What's happening for you? And then you can have boundaries around those things.
so, yeah, I agree. And so, you just reminded me, I had a discussion recently with a client who a month ago was, I just want to be fair. I just want to be fair. And they were manic and frantic and all of it. And because everything was still new and how to separate and a lot of grief and a lot of anger and frustration.
And
And
conflict
recently,
avoidance, no doubt.
conflict avoidance, how to handle the kids, how to tell the kids, all these things. And talking to friends, they were giving her all this advice. So what we were doing was sort of sifting that, and I said, "Well, let's pause on that. What is it that you want?" She says, "I don't know. I just want to get out. I just want." So it's been time. We've been working on it, taking sessions, and well, let's find out what your legal rights are. Is there a tax accountant that you can talk to talk about, what the financial separation can be and look like? Where are your assets? So we're breaking pieces down into manageable bites because it's so overwhelming, right? There is such and I use the word tsunami of information, an overload that, friends are going to tell you a whole bunch of information, most of which is not correct, because they're processing their own emotions about maybe a breakup or what they feel, or they're trying to be overly protective. So it's important to know where your sources are and have really firm boundaries. We'll go back to really firm boundaries. Like if you have members of your family that we're going to have a get together. We're coming up on Easter. Great time for families to get together. You may say, look, we're separating. I'd really appreciate if you didn't invite the ex. Right? I know, well, we've made arrangements with the kids and things are going to be fine, but I'll be turning up. And just so you know, I'm not going to be talking about the separation. And we're not talking with the kids about the separation.
No,
So,
that's a beautiful boundary. Let's speak
yeah,
into that more.
yeah,
Having boundaries around what you want to, what you're willing to share,
Hmm.
what you're willing to talk about, and when it's appropriate, when it's not. Like, that's a piece that gets forgotten, I think. Can you speak into that?
Well, just to say, you're not telling the family I'm never going to speak about it. You're going to say, in these circumstances, I'd like to not discuss it. Right? And so speaking into that is to say, we're here to celebrate Easter. We're going to eat ridiculous amounts of chocolate. We're going to eat some hot cross buns, and we're going to have some fun as a family. But we're going to do it as a family, you know, as us. But the boundary is telling people, giving them information so they know what not to do. That's as important as knowing what to do, right? So think of it when people want to give you advice, if you say, I'd really just appreciate if you could just listen, because I need a sounding board right now, but I don't need advice at this point because I just want to vent a little, if that's okay. If not, then you know I'll respect that. Or if it's getting together and we'll go back to the Easter weekend, it's Good Friday. We're having chocolate and we're celebrating Easter, and that might be my day with the kids, for instance. We don't want to talk about the rub and the stuff and talk about it in front of the kids. And so, out of respect to the children, we'll give them an
Yeah.
opportunity to enjoy grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles and play.
Mm.
And someone's bound to come over and say, "Oh, yeah, how you holding up?" And you say, "I'm doing well, thank you. But today I'm here to enjoy Easter with the family."
Love it. I love that frame. I think that's such an important frame because it helps to set you up as the person who's involved. It helps to set you up in a way that supports you and serves you so you don't get dragged into these conversations that you didn't initiate. Because when we are separating, people care about us, people love us. And I'm speaking generalizations, but the
Hmm.
people who want to offer advice are generally doing it because they care for you, they love you, they want to see
Yeah.
you're okay, and they're going to say, "How are you doing?" And, "Oh, how is it working with the kids?" And, "Has he been paying child support?" Or, "Have you cleared out your finances?" Or, "Are you protected?" Or, "Do you have the best lawyer?" All these questions dragging you into a conversation that you either don't have the answers to, so you feel inadequate because you don't have the answers, or B, perhaps that's just not a conversation you wish to share with that person. And I think this is when we talk about boundaries. It's okay just to say, "Thank you for your concern, but um, I'm okay not talking about this right now. I'm doing okay, and thanks for your concern. And can we talk about something fun or something else, or just change the topic?" This whole thing about feeling like if someone asks you a question, you have to answer it. I think it's
Hmm.
important to recognize that we don't have to answer every question we're asked. We get
Yeah,
to control what information we share and with whom.
completely agree. And I use the example with clients of the broken record. Practice a few statements so that you have them, so you're not having to think or feel that you're inadequate or feel like you're flubbing or making up a story. Because if you leave holes in your discussion, they're going to go, "Oh, so you're really not," and the curious auntie. Yeah, we all have a curious auntie, right?
I
And
love how you call
imagine,
her curious. I call her interfering. But anyway,
I'll
I
call
don't
her
have one,
curious.
luckily, but
Yeah.
that's what I would call it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have a curious auntie,
Okay.
an uncle's ex, but it's an auntie and she's curious.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. She is great at asking pervasive questions. Right. But they'll do that. And it's sort of like, you know, thanks for asking about that. But we're doing really well in this time. Oh, so is he taking care of all the financial obligations? I said, you know what? We're talking that through and it's going well. Thanks. Even if
Mm.
it's not, all they want to know is that you're okay and things are going well. There are people that you can confide in, and there's people you should never confide in. So imagine knowing the people because when you're going through this emotional turmoil, you want to tell everybody the turmoil. You just want to get it out like that. But
If you're
imagine,
you, yes. There's so those of us who just like to retreat and disappear from the world. So just
yes,
acknowledging that there are both
and
types, but it's important to
and
communicate. So back
and
to your
and
story.
become a high octane festering, yeah. But as opposed to those that like to just share it. But there's appropriate times and inappropriate times. There's people that will broadcast everything you tell them, and there's other people that can hold a confidence. So
Mm,
discernment is also really important, even within your own family. Like your mom may not be the best person to tell everything to because inadvertently she'll share it with the entire family. It
mm,
might be her sister. It might be your sister. It might be a brother. It might be somebody,
mm,
right? It might be finding a confidant that's someone that you can just have that quiet fun. I mean, it might be a therapist. It might be a coach. It might be, a psychiatrist. But it's just someone that you can feel confident to share information with. So when family does come, you can go, yeah, you know, and they say, well, you've got to be able to take everything because they left you and you're entitled to everything. You say, this isn't about winning. Rinse, repeat. This is about, we're going to be fair. We're making sure the children are safe and their well-being, right? Yeah. I know that when you're in the midst of it or it's fresh, most people don't think that. But if you think about what's fair and what's well-being of the children, and you think about how do I come out of this future thinking now, intact, whole, with my self-respect and my dignity, because if I act like a raving lunatic, I don't have much dignity left. And that's sort of how it works for a lot of people. So, and there are friends that will try and propel you into that rage because they want justice. I was like, well, hang on. I'm the one going through this, not you. Right. So it's always good to check in. Where am I? Is this advice true? So I use with clients this idea that when you receive information, think to yourself, is this true for me? If it's not, you can let it go. If it's like, well, I'm not sure, bring it in and hold it close as a thought and think about it and say, well, yeah, maybe this is something I need to look at, or maybe, no, this isn't for me. And it might be not for now. It's always good to tell friends and family, I really appreciate the advice. I'll take a look at it. You don't have to look at it. People just want to know that they're helping you. And by giving you really strange advice, it sounds great.
Now, it doesn't just end with giving advice. What about scenarios, for instance, where you mentioned a family gathering or just friends
Mhm.
getting together, where normally you'd be invited as a couple, and your friends decide who to invite and who to leave out. Um, any thoughts on that? Are you
Yeah.
following the question? Like,
Yes.
there's a party,
Yeah.
you'd normally be
So,
invited as a couple. Now they invite him, but not you, or they invite her, but not you.
yeah. Or they invite
You,
your ex
them,
with their new partner.
hello. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, how
Yeah.
does one
And we've
who's
been separated
navigating
for all
this?
of 3 weeks or something, right? It's like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So,
Um,
how do you manage that when you're the person going through it? What's some great steps or communication tips that you can offer in those scenarios?
Well, see, friends fall into a few categories. Just to answer that question in a broader term, they fall into a few categories. They try and remain friends with one or other or both, or not, or none of, or just not at all, right? Because it's awkward. If your ex is repartnered and your friends invite the ex and their new partner to a dinner party, for instance, you now know where they were friends, and so they weren't really friends with you. So it's going to sting, but it also means you now know. It doesn't mean that you've got to be angry at them. They may invite you to another party at another time. It Understand that people are trying to navigate how to handle you now that you're not a couple. Because it was always the two of you came to things. And so and as I said, they fall into those categories of they don't communicate at all and don't invite you to anything, or they only invite just you, or they invite just him or her, or they invite them with a new partner. It's it's awkward for everybody to try and figure out how to do it, and each circumstance is unique. The one thing I can say to you is don't take it personally. It feels personal, but it's like we're having a dinner party, and oh, we would normally invite Janet and Joe, but this time, oh, Janet and Joe aren't a couple anymore. Do we not invite them at all, or do we invite just one of them? Um,
Yeah, I'm going to tap
the,
into this. So, if you're the person on the other side, you're the friend, you're the
yeah,
family member, and you have someone who you love and care for experiencing going through separation, what is the right what's a healthy way to approach this? Because of course it brings up your own awkwardness, not just for the separating couple but for yourself, your own
well,
relationship turmoil and history. So what is a healthy approach?
key to everything is communication.
Yeah,
Pick
tell
up the
us more.
phone. Yeah, call them. Call this family member that is separating and say, "Look, we're having a get together, and normally we would invite you and your other. We understand things are you're separated. We're going to have a few events this year as a family. Is it okay if we invite you this time? But and it depends on the family. If it's a family thing, then that's different. If it's your family, it really stinks. But if it's a couple that you socialize with or friends that you socialized with, you know, pick up the phone and just say, "We're not snubbing you. We're just trying to work out how to navigate the new you."
Nice, nice. So it's really asking permission or asking for guidance from
Yeah,
guidance, really is the word. Asking for guidance from the people concerned, the people that you care for, so that
yeah,
you know you're doing it on terms that are truly supportive for them, not what you're guessing might be supportive.
yeah. Because there's nothing stranger than, say, your neighbors are throwing a pool party and you live next door and you're not invited. I mean, you've always been invited, right? But you're still living next door, but you're not getting invited this time. And then you start to think, well, do I bathed today? I took a shower. What happened? They don't know. It's awkward for everybody because you were a couple.
They just
So
feel like it's better to just not involve either party, and so we're just going to lose them both as friends because it's just easier that
yeah,
way. We don't have to face our own awkwardness.
yeah, must be. I
Um,
mean, let's face it. People love to avoid
Conflict.
conflict. We say conflict is inevitable, combat is optional, but most people think that conflict is a rub that's going to escalate. And you know, the only thing that I can say is if someone's inviting you to come to a party, can you say, "Is my ex going to be there?" And they say, "Well, we've invited them." And say, "Well, I might decline because we're just going through some awkwardness right now. By all means, invite them, but I'll just send my apologies for this time."
Yeah, sounds
You
good.
know?
Yeah. It's a big topic, isn't it? And when you are on the other side and you want to help someone, let's say they've got firm boundaries and they're saying,
Mhm.
thank you for your concern, but I don't care to talk about this right now. Are there other ways that we could help someone who's going through separation, that isn't just about moral support or advice or even being a listening ear? What other practical ways can a person help a party separating?
It's to let them know you're there for them. Basically, I mean, not giving advice is sometimes the best advice to give. Not to and not to take sides. Um, you know, um, they may be going through some financial hardship at a time. Tell them that, if there's anything they ever want to talk about and then you truly mean this, that you're there to support them. Let them say, please reach out.
Mm,
Um, the other thing that I think is always a good thing if you're a close friend or a family member or a sibling, take them a nourishing meal, a casserole or something, because people don't eat, they forget, they're in stress, they're going to be eating junk food or they're going to be going to takeaways and trying to navigate if they remember to do that or they get to their fridge and it's empty, they forgot to buy groceries. Um, take them
that's sweet.
something to eat.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just say, oh, I was just passing by and I made this and I thought you might like it. And you don't stay, you don't go into conversation unless they invite you in, and be prepared that you may be longer than you planned, right? Or they may
Yeah.
just say, thank you very much, and leave. It's whatever actions you take, be prepared that there may be some other things that are going on. But Never give unsolicited advice. Don't offer to help financially unless they sincerely ask, because that can be insulting to somebody or can demean them. Even if you know they're having financial hard times, it's say, I'm not lending you money, but if you ever need any assistance or a gift in any way, please let me know and I can assist you in some way.
Mm.
Right. And it might be, you know, if there's difficulty or financial strain around uniforms for the kids.
Mm.
And it may not be you doing it, but there's agencies and organizations that can help. And you can say, can I put you in touch with this group? No, it's sort of like the one thing I learned years ago was when someone was sitting there crying is not to pull a tissue and give it to them, but hand them the box so they can pull their own tissue, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's
If
the
they
same
feel
thing.
they need it. Mm.
The resources are there. All you have to do is say, if you ever need it, there's some resources that might be able to assist. But you don't go and take them there. You don't go and contact the resource and say, look, I've got a friend. You keep boundaries as well. And the boundary is, if you need any information, I'm happy to provide it or find out for you if I can assist in that way. It's
Fabulous.
because the person doesn't need fixing because they're not broken. They're just going through a difficult moment. And that's all it is a difficult moment. Everybody gets through the other side. There will be hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train on the tracks. There is an ending. And our goal is to do this with as much dignity and as calmly as humanly possible, knowing that we're going to be feeling some extreme turmoil and anger and lots of grief.
Mm. Wow. I'm really so glad that you mentioned that, you know, we're talking about some practical things, boundaries, communication. Um, and then, of course, there's the emotion. And so there's time and place and the right resources. Find somebody who you feel you can confide in. It could be a professional like a divorce coach, it could be a friend with boundaries, someone you know is a confidant. Whatever it is, it's about asking for help, knowing that help and support is there when you're ready for it, and
Mm-hmm.
that you're not alone, you're not going through it alone. And I think that's such a key message. And you help people in so many beautiful ways. And thank you for this conversation today about how to navigate the additional pressure of friends and family trying to help or wanting to help, because it does add pressure. You're already
Mm-hmm.
going through your own thing that's creating stress in your own world and your own body. And now you feel like you're managing them as well. So
Mm-hmm.
having those boundaries, I think, is the bridge of saying, okay, I don't need to manage them and their emotions. I just need to know what I need, make sure that my needs are met through boundaries. And however they manage their needs is up to them.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, great synopsis there, Vicky.
Thank you. I'm learning something along the way from the great
Me
divorce
too.
coach. Thank you. So this is, it's a messy part of separation that I think nobody really avoids along the way. And
No.
quite often people don't have the language for it. So hopefully today it's supported by offering some language, offering some insights as to different ways of thinking and approaching these matters. The people around you love you, and with a bit
Mm-hmm.
of awareness and some healthy conversations, that support that they offer can be game changing, and it may actually bring them even closer to you when it's managed well. And if
Yeah.
you're a family lawyer who feels that your client could benefit from some of this work, then that's available for it's a initial call. Is You're open
Initial
to
call,
initial
30
calls?
minutes. We just to find out what they're looking for, how to help. I may not be the right divorce coach, but I know others. You know, I'm here to help people navigate difficult times and help them learn to use dispute resolution techniques to get to the other side. That, we said just through a while, conflict is going to happen, but you can choose how you want to engage. You don't need to go to war, right? You can just pause, breathe, take your time. Yeah, you'll get there.
I love it. And there's an expression that seems to be bandied around more often than ever, and that is don't get mad. Talk to Thad. Just to keep it light.
Yeah, don't get mad. Talk to Thad. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful.
It's
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Vicky,
Have a great afternoon.
and you.